Welcome back to our show. Now, today we have a special guest in the guise of Jackson Petit. Jackson is one of the up-and-coming artists in the Bahamas. In fact, he just had an exhibition, and for those of you who don't know him...
Well, I'm an artist and a filmmaker. I've been painting for about 10 years now. Approximately, yeah, about 10 years. We just had our art show recently called Lines, Impressions, and Opposing Parallels. Me and my brother, and featuring another Haitian artist. And it's currently going on in the PCC for about 3 weeks. And I'm also, like I said, a filmmaker. I've done some short films. Been away to Canada for a year doing film and video. And now I'm back here doing some stuff and working at the National Art Gallery.
You mentioned Haitian. Are you from a Haitian background?
Yes, I am. Both of my parents are Haitian, and but I'm born here.
Okay. How has that influenced your work?
I think in terms of just the color and even maybe some the themes and the paintings themselves influence from my Haitian culture, but also I think I have the best of both worlds. I think both worlds influence my work, but other artists have told me that they see some certain things that are specifically to Haitian artists and their work and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I see what they're saying, because I see some of my figures, the way they're drawn, the way some of the colors are layered, the choice of colors and that kind of thing. So,
right.
Yeah. Okay,
you mentioned Haitian art and you're telling me about figures and whatnot, but I'm still not comprehending. Is there a specific kind of thing that Haitians are known for in their paintings?
I think from what I remember looking at their work is the exaggerated figures, the sort of the thick legs and the small bodies, I mean small head sort of thing, but thick sort of exaggerated figures and that kind of thing. So that's something I noticed and something I dabbled a bit in my work, and sort of the exaggerated features of the face and that kind of thing. But specifically, the things that I noticed were in terms of color palette. That's definitely something I know specifically about my work and specific, to the Haitian culture, and it's particularly the Haitian artists. So that's what I noticed about their work.
Okay, you mentioned that you had an exhibition recently. Is this your first?
No, well, now I think about it, I had like about 5, because it was 3 shows before this. No, it was about 4. 3 shows before this. There's Boxing recently. That was about 3 weeks ago in Transform Spaces, and then it's this one. So it's about 4 exhibitions. 5 actually. 5, yeah. Okay,
now is it easy to get an exhibition going? Because I've spoken to other artists and they've mentioned money constraints. Are you being sponsored, or how easy is it to get an exhibition if you're a young artist and you want to display your work?
It could be. I mean, it could be a rough experience. Yeah. But I mean, these last couple of exhibitions were not so much so that we got sponsors for for wine and that kind of thing, and that venue was easy to accommodate into us and that kind of thing. So it wasn't that hard. The last thing I did was expensive, was the Boxton show, where I did a video piece, and I think I spent like $300 and something just to build the box.
Wow!
And I didn't make any money, right? But the experience was worth it. You know what I mean? And the next time I do, I'll definitely get a sponsor to put it up the money.
Where did you study?
I went to CV Belford, but I studied art at COB. I'm still there at COB, finishing off my degree, and like I said, I went to Toronto Film College to do film and video in Toronto. So. Okay,
now speaking of film and video, tell me a little bit more about that.
I went away to Toronto, and I did a program for a year program. This is pretty much just a diploma program, and I did a few projects there, and I came back. I had one short. And this last year's BIF, 2007.
Okay, that's Bahamas International Film Festival.
That's correct. Right. And I have another short film that's in acquisition by a distribution company in Canada that wants to distribute it and send it to festivals and put it on networks and that kind of thing.
What was the name of the
one that was in BIF was Jackson's autobiography. It's a short documentary, short subject documentary. And then the other one was Cardboard City in the Land of Paintings.
What was that about?
The Cardboard City one? It's basically a short, it's sort of emotive about what I was feeling, what I was thinking, that kind of thing. But it's more of a visual piece, a lot of animation, some visual effects type stuff. It's like a 6-minute piece, and just pretty much about this guy that's sort of, spewing about his, his condition and that kind of thing. So it's interesting. I think it's interesting. So
Is any of your work at the National Art Gallery? Because I know that you work at the National Art Gallery.
yeah, I had 1, 3.
Wow.
So yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What influences your work?
I mean, I think everything influences my work. I mean, it's a specific artist that I'm looking at now that influenced my work, both filmmaking and painters. Like I'm recently been looking like Paul Klee, Miro, Klein. Who else? In terms of filmmakers, I look at Alexander Payne, Wes Anderson, Petit Anderson, Alfonso Cuarón, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, Inarritu, quite a number of filmmakers and artists.
What else do you do?
To be honest, it's just art and filmmaking. That's pretty much the sum of what I do, I mean, I do other stuff. I do have a social life and I watch movies or whatever. So yeah, I mean, but in terms of my career and what I do, that's specifically pretty much it. Yeah.
Do you see yourself as a role model for younger artists coming up? I know you're 10 COB, but you've still managed to do a couple of exhibitions. The National Art Gallery. I mean, you had a piece exhibited there. That's a big accomplishment. I mean, you've done film and everything else. Do you see yourself as a role model, and what would you tell young aspiring artists?
I'm not sure I see myself as a role model. I mean, I guess you could say that because it's funny that you mentioned that, because when we had the show last week, there was a couple of students there from a particular school who wanted to meet us because they heard about us for years and years, and they are also of Haitian descent, right?
Right.
And they wanted to come down and see the show and wanted to meet us. And this guy was like he really couldn't say anything because he was so surprised to meet me and finally, have a conversation with me and want to, meet me and that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, but I mean, I guess I could see, I guess I could be a role model for younger artists who want to venture into this field. And I also say, to keep trying, keep pushing it, keep working at it, because I mean, it takes a lot of work to get to a certain particular stage in your career, and it took me literally 10 years to get to this point, So I tell any artist just to keep doing it. If they really want to do it, just keep pushing and they'll make it.
Now, I know that there's a lot of negativity attached to children of Haitian background. Do you find that did you ever face anything like that, and how did you overcome it?
I mean, specifically any like prejudices and that kind of thing.
Right, and how has that affected you?
I mean, there were a few incidents, to be honest. I mean, it didn't necessarily shift me that much, It was like, kind of experience it, then you kind of move on, you know what I mean? So it's funny you mentioned, because some of the things that I do remember, I plan to actually put down on paper and make shorts of them or something like that. I'll film, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, you just go through those things. I mean, everyone goes through something, you know what I mean? And I think it just makes you stronger at the end of the day. So yeah.
Okay, where do you go from here?
Like I was saying, I work at the National Gallery now, but right now, me and my brother are actually writing our first feature. We'll see how that goes, and hopefully at the end of the year, we have the final draft done, and then we can have a reading, among the community and see what their input is, and see if we can start getting financing for it afterwards. So that's the plan. So
Jackson Petit, it's been good having you on our show. Good luck with all your future projects. Roots and Culture, we'll be right back.